follow me on Facebook or Twitter. And if you dare, to the buffet table.
Four-letter words are valid.
We're
not running the country yet. And this recording is just an audio for reminder and backup of the meeting at Stone and Barrel with Michael DiCarlo. We hope Angela Green is going to be showing up, and Michael's lovely wife, Linda.
On the 14th of October, 2018.
Started with that.
Oh, did you? I didn't get that.
You were still swearing.
I was still swearing, and that was me. That was me to swear.
Okay, so this is on a recording, on a hold, and I had, so we can talk anything, whether, just set up. I don't know what you want to do. If you want to record, that's the lens isn't even open. Oh, it is open, but if we've got a few things we can address. One is Angela knows a little bit about my coalition ideas that I can run through the bullet. I've gone into a little more depth than I have with her over the phone and email, but gosh, where would I start? We've got energy, and we have people who are looking for us, and we need to get out there. Do we do it by video only? If we do it by video only, do we do friendly banter like we're doing now? These are my
principles.
Here's me.
Yeah.
Here's my principles, and not get into a debate about it, but just smile and nod, present one another.
Well, to me, everything's an exchange of ideas anyway.
It should be.
I'm not going to agree with everything you say. You're not going to agree with everything I say, and that's fine, right? The politics is where we come to a compromise, and as long as you're not compromising your principles, and you can still work together.
Actually, I agree.
Then things can actually benefit society instead of the folks that are paying for the.
See, where I compromise my principles are for society. For example, the abortion debate. If it was just up to me in my household, I'd say, hey, no abortions. It's not right. You can't be taking life. But that's not the world we live in. We live in a litigious society where people sue, and if you go the other way to McSally's end of the spectrum, where similar, you can't have abortions, but you can if it was rape, that's dangerous because it's going to lead to women stating there was rape when there wasn't. Not because women are necessarily bad, but because dad told me to, mom forced me to, some person who got me pregnant forced me to say someone else was the parent. Anything can happen, and it will if that caveat is put in there. So because of that stance, that's always going to be the stance. Women are going to say, but what about rape? Am I wrong?
No, I understand what you're saying.
Therefore, even though my stance is right to life, my personal belief is right to life, I go against my personal belief and support Roe v. Wade because it's got to be the woman's choice and take that whole caveat of legal action out of the picture.
I can concur with that.
It's a fault in society, really.
It's not really a fault in society. It's extension of liberty to its truest form, and there's nothing more precious in the word liberty as who you choose to worship. And if somebody wants to make abortion a religious debate, I'm not going to touch it because there's nothing more precious than who you call your creator and who you choose to worship. I'm adopted. My oldest daughter's adopted. I am pro-life all day long. But this is the caveat part. You got either getting kicked in the head by a jackass or you're shoveling elephant dung because jackasses say it's okay for abortion, but elephant people want to say it's okay to go kill criminals. At what point, how can you label yourself pro-life if you're pro-death penalty for criminals?
It's an interesting dynamic.
I mean, there's a point in your life where stuff is your business, and there's another point in your life when it's none of your business. And if it's none of my business, it's none of the government's business. I mean, if this is really the land of liberty, one you have to acknowledge is full of liars and thieves. And two, you actually have to embrace your own and realize that the government doesn't give you your rights. Your rights come from your creator. And the moment that you turn to government to protect your rights, you're already giving them. You're delegating them away. And sort of the whole, how we've gotten to this place here. I mean, I joined the Navy trying to man Reagan's 600 ship Navy. Okay? I was fortunate enough to serve next to a lot of great Americans and was put in positions where before I would deploy, I would actually call home to Ohio, talk to my mother, talk to her about what's going on in church, what do they think about this, what do they think about that. Because I knew where I was going, but I couldn't tell her where I was going. But I needed to understand who I was actually serving. Sure, I was an order follower, but we all are at one point or another. But how do you interpret? You got to understand who I served under, right? I served under Bill Clinton. He couldn't define what the word is meant. So that gave me a lot of liberty in following the orders as they were written, because words have different meanings.
They do.
And part of my job was to have the dictionary there to interpret it how people interpret it. I mean, when I say I was fortunate enough to work next to great Americans, one of my captains just retired after being the fleet admiral of the 7th Fleet, which is from the west coast all the way to the international date line.
Tufts?
Or date line in Horn of India, sorry. But my XO at the time has addressed Congress on many issues recently within the last 2 years. I was the career counselor on board, I was an assistant navigator on board, I was a qualified diving officer on board.
Dive officer.
All right. It was like going to school every day.
Yeah. Lots
But-
of upkeep, lots of retraining.
But in interpreting, I mean, there were order followers too, right? And interpreting and learning their minds and how they interpreted things, and understanding what made them tick. I mean, my captain graduated from Cal, Berkeley. He'd been better off leaving a Greenpeace boat than on a nuclear power shovel. I mean, no,
was
I-
he wired like that? It's like, I'll follow orders, but save the planet?
Not necessarily save the planet. It was follow orders, do your job, but it wasn't.
Well,
that
you know, a
save the
lot of
planet,
people
it was
have their
save the
personal ideas
save the
outside.
people. Oh, they do.
Yeah.
But then having that foreknowledge, I mean, and understanding that person, it isn't like they just came out and say, "Raw." The senior enlisted corps are actually, I mean, officers run the Navy, but the senior enlisted corps make the Navy run.
Yep.
All right, and it's the same across all the forces.
Yeah, I've got a couple of friends in the Air Force at the Pentagon. Not in duty anymore.
Right.
They're desk jockeys now,
Right.
but they're making it run.
I worked as a contractor after I retired from the Navy. Worked for the Army. Taught electronic warfare for 2 years. Got promoted to company intelligence support team, which was more or less using all the different sources of intelligence to create a picture on the battlefield.
I've been good at that.
It's meticulous, but you always have to question yourself because you don't want to have the bias of thinking that you're always correct. Because it's always whenever you think that way, something's going to come up and bite you in the butt. So
Battle plans don't survive first encounter with the enemy.
well, sure they survive all the way up until that point, and then it's a constant flux. It's always a change.
Mm-hmm.
You know? But when we were forced to stuff defeat down the jaws of victory, and the drawdown happened, and we left Iraq and everything like that, it started reading more books other than just the military books. Smedley Butler, if you've ever heard of him,
I have not.
he wrote a book. He's a retired Marine Corps general.
Hmm?
War's a Racket.
Wars. Oh, a racket. Okay.
Okay. And yeah, we have to have the fightest military force in the world.
Angela.
All right.
Hey, Angela, where you at?
Oh, I did forget my book. Can you get that green book and the love book?
Wait. sure which gate you came in then, but the main road runs a large, horseshoe.
It's shut over there.
It's shut on one, yeah, and apparently the gate is shut on one side. So if you're in, you're looking for the Oakwood Country Club signs on the street, and they lead to Stone and Barrel at the end of the cul-de-sac. So you're back. Oh, you're back on Dobson. All right, here you go. Oh, Dobson and Riggs. Go west towards. You're gonna west past Dobson, kind of heading back towards I-10, but there's gonna be a light, Sun Lakes Boulevard, and you make a right there. Sun Lakes Boulevard. Yes, it's a, do a right at Sun Lakes. Wait, what means is there a physical sign or a computer sign? Because Michael just came in there.
I came in from down here, went all the way down there. This is blocked off now.
Near as I know, the east gate of Robeson was closed, and the west gate of Sun Lakes. You need to be going west. If you're at Robeson, you need to be going west. There's Robeson, Dobson, then Sun Lakes Boulevard. It actually has a light. So you go right there, and there'll be the little gatehouse street. Nope. Keep going. If you hit the 10, you missed it. Good. Keep going. Skip the Burger King. Actually, the Burger King is Dobson. I'm pointing at Riggs now. I'm pointing to Sun Lakes Boulevard. You're going to make the next right at the big light. It's funny, I was about to text. No, that's okay. They're going to, the guard is, you're going to punch in 1537 as a gate, or the guard's going to come out and ask for my address. So you might as well just keep me on the phone.
She was really pleasant.
Google Maps, yeah, because every entrance has a gate. There are none that you can't get into without a key. So when you do the Google Maps, it'll start taking you around this whole gated community. Maybe I need to identify that as a more important disclaimer. Warning, gated community, limited access.
They take that stuff serious.
9513 East Jade Crest Drive. Jade like the rock, Jade Crest. Crest like the toothpaste. She got it. That's right. Michael made it through. We're here. I can't promise it's not down, but you're going to follow a horseshoe that wraps east. And about the time it starts wrapping east, you'll see signs for Oakwood Country Club. That's the mark, the landmark, I guess. And then down at the end of the cul-de-sac is where we are. So just come on all the way down. All right, yeah, coming all the way down. Park either side of the cul-de-sac, left, right, whatever you see parking in. Yeah, you might want to just keep chatting. See you soon. Bye-bye. It's funny, I was about to text her and tell her, we're going to close the door because there's some lobby noise we want to shut out. We're doing a little recording. So she's making it. So this will be cool. Now, we've just been standing and kind of chatting casually. We could move this over in frame, or I can put the frame anywhere and have a round table discussion. Hey, with a real round table. We could sit at the table. We could continue stating. I'm gonna offer the same thing to Angela, and I don't care. I'm here to.
Never that.
Yeah.
We can present this. We can put it in the center here, so it's
Yeah,
already
we
here.
do.
So it's already here. So we can inquire up here. Hey, would you like to sit here in front of the camera?
Slide that aside, right?
Move that back a little bit, so I don't have to go over. So an elbow in.
My charcoal gray jacket. You know.
I had the wrong jacket on. My wife said, "Hey, your pants and your jacket don't match." I'm like, "Son of a gun." Thank goodness it was in the back. A little dusty, but it'll be all right.
I was prepared for us to pull the newsman routine, which is, take your pants off and then just, something. We're here today to discuss it. Which, this, obviously I was trying this one. So the three of us.
Yeah.
I don't know how long I record for.
Hmm?
How long is it record for?
I don't know until it runs out of room or till forever. I don't know. We'll see. That makes no difference. You got your phone too. Holy moly!
And I'm just letting as much light in as possible.
Light is good.
Light is good. No doubt, submarine guy must appreciate it.
More now than ever.
Yeah, the Navy didn't want me. I applied for a scholarship that I'm sure to get. Like all my numbers, all my grades, and everything were there. But anyway, I was actually told by the recruiter, "No, you've been, black or Jewish or something. You definitely got
That's
this."
just flavors, man. I mean, honestly, I look at us Americans as flavors. Whatever you want to identify as yourself as this, that, the other. You're just an American flavor to me. I could care less.
And what's hilarious is, years later, I've done the DNA thing. I'm not as white bread as I look. I'm a little bit of marbled rye or something.
None of us are, man.
You look back, small percentages, but it's like, well, son of a gun. I could have gotten that scholarship after all. Except there was another recruiter who said, "Oh, you're not going to be able to be a pilot. No, you can't do EOD. No, you can't be a SEAL." And I've got the frame for a pilot. And you mentioned diving. I've got the lungs for being a SEAL, but I'm colorblind. And
because that way you can't see the wires, man.
Right.
That's the only thing.
I know that as an adult now. It's like, all right, I'll do plumbing distastefully, but I won't do electricity. Red, green. Red, green.
Yeah.
Red, green, dead.
No, that's what I was an electronics technician.
Yep.
It was my initial job. This was during the Clinton administration where the military drawdown was going on.
Yep.
So they wanted to make everything more efficient. So my initial job was an inertial navigation system technician, which was its purpose was to spin up the missiles so that the missiles could be launched and land where they need to know where they started from in order to know where they were going. It's a byproduct. You got to know where you were while you're underwater and submerged. After that was my first tour that I did. I went to the Gulf on the USS Dixon for the mop-up Gulf War, so I was there at the same time that the Red Team candidate was there. But I was there for 3 months, and she just flew over in 3 minutes. After that, I went to recruiting. I was master at arms on board the USS Dixon, so I was every third day I was carrying around 45 to 24 hours, constantly going around because we anticipated the USS Cole 10 years before it happened. Okay, so that was the constant threat there. Then in Bahrain and the United Arab Emirates, and came back to recruiting duty. Was a distinguished graduate. Got to have lunch with Marcia Evans, who after she retired from the Navy ended up being the head of the Red Cross. Went back to USS Bremerton. Then I found out that they had merged frog sticker navigation, like you would actually see like on the old ships. I had to learn that, and then interior communications.
Hello, no, don't worry. It's
sorry.
it's a pleasure.
Good to meet you, Jonathan.
Hi, my name's Colin.
Hi, Michael. Nice to meet you.
This is my wife, Linda.
Hi, nice to meet you.
I'm Angela Green. Nice
I'm
to meet
Linda.
you. Awesome. It's a nice little spot.
Just to warn you, that recorder's already going, it's just an audio.
Perfect, okay.
Start your, I think you guys started yours, right?
Yeah.
So if you want any
So
audio,
nice.
take it, and if you don't want to say anything,
I always have something to say.
I'm not out to do that to either of you, but you never know.
I've already dropped the first F word, or not F word.
S
Oh,
word.
okay.
All right.
4-letter word.
I guess we'll here. Do you have anybody coming?
No, you know what? My team was like, oh, I didn't know it was today. That's why.
No, well, I was just gonna close the door.
So,
I was
no,
just telling
we're
you.
all good.
Right when you called, I was going to text you to say, there's some bonding on the scene.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's all good. I just need to charge my phone, actually.
So, if we just wanted to talk and have basic discussion about what the hell is going on. Obviously, Michael and I have already been at it.
Right.
We're kind of getting, he's about it as a customer. He knows about where I'm at and giving him some of the information on you. So
Okay.
we're coming together. We need to decide what we want to do, both externally with the public and
Mm-hmm.
internally with us, using this time now.
Okay.
And what I had suggested in the email was we want to get something on film or audio so that we can all blog it out.
Mm-hmm.
And I was suggesting rather than underdogs.
Right.
Underdogs does pull people in,
Yeah, I know.
but there's already a label out there.
Yeah.
You've got Republicans,
Mm-hmm.
Democrats, and others.
Yes.
So why not call ourselves the others
Yeah.
and have a little coalition of star others?
Because I just posted, well, I emailed someone back and they gave them the statistics on Arizona. We're like pretty much in thirds. Republicans at 34%, Democrats 31%, 33% is independents and other. So I was like, that's perfect then, because we can be part of that 33%, because honestly, libertarians, Green Party, anybody else, we're less than 1%. So that's where all the numbers are. And the frustrating thing is we're a third of what, why are we not getting the recognition of people wanting to be choices for, the people of Arizona?
Because the people that we would represent aren't the people that are paying for the scripts.
Exactly. And the thing is that's what's frustrating to me. And the bottom line is that's why I honestly am starting to promote this free election. Not really. Because that's part of our democracy is a free election. But yet, if you have no money, then we're not allowed to we're not allowed to have media press, we're not allowed to be at the debates. And these are what has been told to us in those words.
Right.
Yeah, I got it in writing in an email. She got it secondhand through, I told about your manager's friend who talked to
Right.
Graham.
It was,
Yeah, we're just being eclipsed.
yes.
Felt that, and I had suggested it might not be the Democrats, it might not be the Republicans, it might just be the media itself saying, hey, if we pit these two against one another,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to get a lot of advertising money.
Yes.
And they're getting exactly that.
That's it.
So that's the story on things. We have to advertise ourselves.
Mhm.
If we want to take away from a candidate, if we want to really win ourselves, we've got to promote ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And we can raise our voices together and get a little attention to all of us.
Absolutely.
This way.
100%. And I would love to have this so that we can post and, I'm happy to put you guys on all my stuff and we can honestly, and whoever wins, the bottom line is we all have to work together anyway. So that's kind of what's so silly about the whole thing, but it's all propaganda, it's all media, and I just didn't think it was going to be like this. I really, it called me naive, but honestly, I just did not think it was going to be like that at all. I thought they'd be encouraging and be like, oh yeah, write-in candidates, come on. I see you want to do something.
Finally, someone doing something
Right.
different.
Somebody really wants to do something. Because honestly, and when people tell me this is an ego trip, I think to myself, this is one hell of an ego trip. Because what that I have been going through is like, why would anyone want to subject themselves to that? You know what I mean?
Right.
If you weren't really trying to do something for the people. So, yeah, I think it's great. Let's do it.
Well, I can say it is for my head, but it's because I'm sick of what I hear on MSNBC and Fox.
Yeah.
It's, I've been told by the media, actually, I spent about a month not really following up on my campaign. I spent a month chasing lawyers, and the FEC spoke with me.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, no, it's legal. News is just entertainment, so they can say whatever they want.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
hold
thought
on. I'm sorry. I thought I didn't record that part.
I
Hold on
thought
a
I
second.
communicated that to you.
No, I don't remember that if you did, and I apologize, because man, that is very important,
Mine-
because I'm going to,
That might have been when I posted my letter.
Have you seen the movie They Live?
Yes,
From the 80s.
I
yes.
haven't. What is it?
Aliens.
It's not aliens.
It's aliens.
Okay.
Interdimensional aliens.
Stella, it's a science fiction movie,
Okay.
okay, but Stella gets a pair of sunglasses and puts it on and sees the world as it really is.
Oh yes, somebody told me about it, and they go, Angie, you need to watch it. Obey Giant. I watched the movie Obey Giant, and they referred to that movie.
Okay.
That's where I heard from it. But go ahead. I'm so sorry. I
No,
didn't
no,
cut you off.
no,
Go ahead.
but-
I was just so excited. I know exactly what you're talking about. But go ahead.
You see the television as it is,
Yes.
and the people there, they're, I see it as brain dead people, where they're just doing what they can to
Mhm.
turn a dollar or earn a dollar. There's a part in there where you see money in somebody's hand that says this is your God,
Right.
okay? And that's what everybody's trying to do is worship their God to get more of their God.
Absolutely.
And you see signs that say obey, consume, marry, reproduce, stay asleep, all the things like that.
That's
It's pretty interesting.
They were basically using subliminal messages to control the human race.
And I have an article. One of my teammates sent me, and he said, "And you need to read this." And he goes, "Now, 99% of politicians use it, subliminal messages and everything, but of course, no one knows it, and no one wants to quote unquote believe it, but you think about it, and you start going." Wait a minute, why did I feel like, okay, I can relate to that person I never thought I could before?
Mhm.
And these are things that I know too. It's just, no. I
All right,
get
well,
it.
we're doing well here. We're just freewheeling. We're just talking. We're just discussion. I think we're not going to have a debate style discussion here.
Okay.
So why don't I sit down over there?
Yep.
Uh,
Why don't we sit and just
would one of
discuss
you
this whole
yeah,
thing?
exactly. I was going to say if one of you want to take a look and
Okay.
how's the framing?
Yep, go ahead.
then I have no
My
preference.
girl,
to sit
always
in
she
the
does
middle.
this for me. She's all, Angie, make sure the sound is good. Make sure we can hear everybody. There's no echo. Oh my God, no, right?
Hang on, they already got it.
Here we go. And that chair needs to come over a little bit more. Like,
What does the table do to that?
You put the fat man on the suit?
You could be in the middle. I don't.
yeah, why don't you be?
I am
Because
not
I'm
far.
gonna move closer to you. So this way.
You
Let's
guys,
actually,
you guys want
let's
to
just
use it
move this a little
over
bit.
here,
What's that?
your voice recorders?
That's
Do you want to?
Actually, that's probably a good distance from mine.
Okay.
You put them too close, and all you hear is something like.
That's fine, just asking.
No, that was great. Thank you. I
Okay,
think those pads take good video too.
is there a zoom?
Yes, there is. It's the top button.
Okay,
This way. Yeah.
okay, there we go, there we go. I'm like, I can't see anybody. All right, here we go. Let's move it up a little bit closer. All right, you guys are gonna have to. There we go. This is perfect.
Yeah, as far as
Yeah,
framing goes, that'll be all right.
yeah.
my mom will be happy there's smoke behind your shelf and reading.
I told you the library would be a good setting. I'm sorry to make you do the drive on this, especially with one of my other ideas that we haven't gotten to yet,
All right.
which is maybe all of us,
Is it recording now?
including anyone else who
Yes.
might call in. I don't know what your job situations are like, but maybe we need to go on tour. Maybe we just need to. Okay, so you had it.
Yeah.
Check
Let's
make
do
sure
that.
that,
Check, make sure I'm good.
and I'll make sure it's running because it
Unless-
wasn't. Unless
Now,
you
let's
turn.
say him right here.
Nope. Unless you started it, it's not running. Oh, it is running. You hit record. Good.
Yes. Sure did.
Right on.
All right. Test 1, 2.
Uh-oh, here we go.
All right.
All right. Well, I don't know what we would call ourselves aside from the others. We are
Sounds
the
good
others,
to me. Yes.
right? Why don't we all do an introduction? So it's your introduction on your blog, your introduction on your blog, my introduction on your blog. Chop, chop, chop.
Sounds good.
Sounds good to me. Do you want to start? Go ahead.
Right then. Good day. It is Sunday, October 14th, 2018, and tomorrow will be the second United States Senator debate for Arizona. The first is right here. We're the others. We're the others that you haven't heard about. We're the Republican write-ins and the Green Party candidate, who you'll see on the ballot. I hope you listen to what we have to say and consider some other choices. Okay, what was that?
I liked it. Very good. All right. And we'll start with introduce?
Sure.
All right. Well, I'm Angela Green. Some of you may know I want to make America great again because it's already great. I am on the ballot as the third party or the third candidate on the Green Party ticket. And I'm very excited to be on there, and I just want to share what my views are so that people have a choice of what the others represent. And part of that has to do with the fact that Arizona is split in thirds, and we all need choices. And I think that we are those choices. So I would love to be a part of this and share this with my fellow candidates who deserve a voice and a way to show who they are also on this ballot for November 6th.
My name is Michael DeCarlo. I'm a write-in candidate for the United States Senate. You can spell my name Michaeldecarlo. I'm a former Republican. I changed parties specifically right after the primary because I wanted to vote for one Arizona Senate candidate who unfortunately did not win. She was a voice of the people, I believe, and that's what I would like to be for you, is to be a voice of the people. I believe that the two-party tyranny system that we have, the red team against the blue team, does nothing but fleece you of your value, and I would like you to maintain as much as your value that you have, because we all work diligently and industriously to achieve that. Thank you very much for your time.
You hold on to that one?
My apologies.
Another smoker, sorry, I have to.
No, I have a cold, slight cold, sorry, so go ahead.
No, that's fair enough. I didn't say my name on that round. Thanks for reminding me. I was just going to do a quick one. My name is Jonathan Raynham. Last name spelled like a ring on your finger. Ham on a sandwich. RINGHAM. I'm a writing candidate running on a Republican platform, but really more of a moderate conservative.
Moderate conservative, that's the other part of
I'm
it.
so far right on that.
And I think that's what everyone's frustrated about. The whole thing is that the reason I ran in this debate and in this race is because one, the seat was open. Okay, Jeff Flake said he wasn't going to be reelected, so I said, well, I'll go for it. I was a registered Democrat for many years. My dad was a bright red Republican. When I saw all the nonsense for the last 12 years, I said, that's it, I want to be a part of it. And he was in the military, he served our country in the Vietnam War. And this is my way of giving back to my country, doing my civil duty, just as you guys are, to represent what our country really means. And honestly, this has been a nightmare for me. Watching on television, everyone that I talk to, my community, they're sick of red and blue, honestly. It's just one of those things. We need candidates and people that represent the real people, hardworking people of Arizona. And I'm done with all the nonsense of everyone with money is running everything. And our government, unfortunately, it seems to me, is being bought and sold to the highest bidder. And that's what I'm standing up for. So that's part of my platform as well. Better voter reform. We need voter reform. We need new ideas of how we can make this voting thing work for everyone.
Right.
Something I've thrown out there is have you guys heard of voter ranked candidate voting or
Oh, so if there's like three choices, you could rank them 1 through 3.
Mhm.
And then,
They just did it in Maine, and it seemed to work out where you rank the candidates, and then if your candidate doesn't win, you take all your votes and put it with them. It's very complex. It's something that it would have to be, the Secretary of State would have to literally train and educate everyone, new systems and everything, but obviously our system is failing us, so.
I agree with you on the failure and the education part, because I don't think, it's almost like a piece of cake.
Mm-hmm.
If you give the government a piece of cake and you say, I have this problem, or a cake, I have this problem, it's going to take off 20 to 30% of it and say, here's your cake back, I solved it for you.
Right. Oh,
That's-
interesting, yeah.
So, it's the same thing with the government educating people is nothing more than further almost like a propaganda of sorts.
Mm-hmm.
This is the way that you must think because I tell you so.
Right.
I also served. I served for 20 years in the Navy.
Well, thank you for your service.
It was an honor and privilege.
Mhm.
I joined at the tail end of Ronald Reagan's term to man the 600 ship because you can't really have peace unless other people leave you alone.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't really have peace if you go around instigating little things all around the world
Absolutely.
in order to turn it on. Turn it on, and it's all money. It's all money. War is a business.
Mm-hmm.
War is a business, and
But so is feeding people.
I agree with you.
So is cleaning our water systems. So is, growing organic hemp farms and things that will provide jobs for people. Those are money-making new wealth. I am all about progress and progression, but at the same time, we've got to go back to the basics on a lot of things, and that is one of them. And we can't have peace, and we need to find different ways to get money. And if they can find federal funding for military weapons, then they should be able to find money to feed our children that are starving, which is so shocking to me why we still have homeless and hungry children in the wealthiest nation. Health care for everyone, and there is no reason why we can't find new ways to create money. We can't eat it, we can't drink it, so we better find some way to make it so that everyone in our country has what we need. There should not be any of this separation, and to me, violence begets violence. I'm sorry. We can't, my stance on that, we need more regulation, so, on guns, and that's a whole different thing, so.
No,
But I'll let you guys go into that one, so.
I'll compromise on that one with you.
Yes.
My vision for weapons is to defend yourself from tyrants.
Mm,
It's not to defend yourself from criminals. It's not to defend yourself, go hunt deer. It's to defend yourself from tyrants, because history does repeat. And
mhm,
that's part of the federal funding of education. No child left behind means every child is left behind. Everything's upside down and back,
mhm,
because you're taking as fact something that's dictated to you from a land far, far, far away. When the people that should be educating people are the people that are there locally.
mhm,
And that all comes down to value. You create value by trade.
mhm,
And it's not necessarily, we can quantify it in money, but it's all about increasing people's value, whether it be in their community, whether it be in their county, their state, or wherever.
right,
But that's what it comes down to,
absolutely.
in my eyes. I understand count money and everything, put it that way, but it's really, to me, it's value. Sorry, sir.
No worries. It is value, and that's unfortunately one of the worst things about the trade war that we've started with China.
Mhm,
And that's, for the longest time, the trade war has been the price of peace. We have had a trade imbalance with China by intention to keep us at peace with China, because you don't blow up your best trade partner.
Right.
Now, having turned things upside down, China might not be as hesitant to get into some kind of fly war with us.
mhm,
And with the Sea of Japan, the Sea of China, the islands that are being overtaken by China,
mhm.
that may turn into a live skirmish. I don't want to see that happen. I like this being locked in partnership.
And I want to see China take care of the oceans that they dumped all the plastic in. And honestly, we need these other countries and even our own country to be accountable for all of the things that they're putting into our oceans, and we need those cleaned up.
I'll
So,
go further than that. I grew up outside of Cleveland.
Mhm.
I was born right after the Cuyahoga River caught on fire. When the Cuyahoga River caught on fire about 20 years before 1969, when it was publicized. Part of the industries that were working there were working on government contracts for, they have a NASA there who was competing against JPL in California. All those byproducts have to go somewhere.
mhm,
And unfortunately, they were putting in the Cuyahoga River in Lake Erie,
mhm.
drains to,
Yes.
they go through and they have to dredge out,
Yeah,
and
okay.
they're still getting contaminants. So I'm on board with, we need, water is life.
Oh,
You can't have
we
clean
only
water.
have
you
one
have to have water.
river left in Arizona, and it's fading fast, and we need to do something about it. And to set it beforehand, before us, they haven't been paying and taking care of the Indian reservations or any of that, and it needs to be paid for.
In fact, someone has added a new pipeline
Yes.
right through it.
And this is the thing, honestly, and I just want to know what is going on. Honestly, this is why I'm running. Part of that, this whole thing is what is going on and why is it happening? and these senators and these people that are running in these races they're fighting between each other. Okay, we guys can fight between each other, but we need to find out why these policies, there's these loopholes in there that are causing children being taken from their families, immigration laws that are killing people, that we're supposed to be the melting pot here, the United States of America, and we are so separate, and we look like barbarians to the rest of the world. So not to digress back to, but this is part of the reason we need new government officials. I want to see people that are here about the people again, not about government and money. It's a frustrating thing, and I think, again, call me naive, but I just never thought that I would ever feel this way about my country. I just never thought it was going to come to this.
I can understand how you feel.
Mhm.
I really can. When the red team and blue team reported they raised $17 million for a job that pays $170,000 a year. Okay? In August. So it means that either they're ignorant, they're stupid, or they're corrupt, or
Right.
they think the public
Is
is ignorant or stupid.
right.
And to me, it's the money has created a vacuum in leadership.
Yes.
And there's a lot of hard choices that have to be made, but you gotta make them together.
Right.
And being a submariner, we fix things like this.
Right.
But government's job is to fix things like this where it barely works together. But the sad part is these gaps here, they're filled with American blood.
Yes.
Because that value will be created elsewhere if it cannot be created here, and be created by people who volunteer to do the job.
Right.
And they'll be directed by politicians who are currently in office and bureaucrats have been ensconced there for decades, whose only purpose is to continue to create dissent between us to justify their position. And it's,
I think they're nervous. But go ahead.
well, the last time they got nervous building stuff.
Yes.
Before that, the president got shot. I mean, it's a cycle.
Well, and that brings up, you just mentioned decades. Maybe 20 years is enough for anyone. The founding fathers didn't expect people to have the lifespans that we do now. And by the time someone's been in office that long, they get a lot of clout. They get a lot of higher the incumbent clout. Keep the establishment in order. But that's why we're together, because the establishment is trying to keep us out. And I think it's time for the government to open up more in terms of setting a limit. Thereby picking an opening at a certain point. Now, you've been here for 3 terms as a senator. It's 18 years, you gotta go. Maybe even the judges, not a lifetime appointment, because people change over time, and that's actually why the Supreme Court's supposed to be there, to add a sense of continuity.
Right. I was just about to say that was the only, because I wanted to argue that too, but the bottom line is there has to be continuity. But the problem is it's been 293 years since they wrote the Constitution. Okay. I don't believe they thought we were going to really have, light rail. I mean, they weren't thinking that the technology was going to take over jobs one day. I don't think that they were envisioning that.
I think they were. I think they were the cotton ginning and all the things that started way back when.
And
saw
it
automation
is in the Section 8 of the Constitution about supporting scientists and progression and things like
Didn't
that.
see emails. Come on. I'm sorry to interject.
Oh,
I think
yeah,
emails,
emails.
big thing.
Okay.
I would go with the internet, didn't see the internet, because the internet
Okay.
allows us to communicate instantly, which is
True.
something that those in power cannot have. They can't have the 3 of us get together, come to a conclusion on something, and say, hey, this is actually better than any of the piece of pie you could have given us for a lifetime.
Absolutely.
They can't have that, because then when we challenge the paradigm, and then that paradigm does need to shift,
Right.
but there's too many people that are vested in it for their life's work that it isn't that they refuse to see it. Maybe they can't see it, but they really don't want to see it.
Or somebody has paid them not to see it, like the news companies who are not reporting on us.
Absolutely. And that, I would love to get into that for just a moment, because this is one of the things that is really frustrating me and frustrating all of the things that we've been doing as far as stepping up and being like, I don't wanna say exposing ourselves, but honestly, that's really what we're doing. We're saying, you know what? When I listened to the people, when we went to, I was at the rally for, the Keeping Families Together. I was at that rally. And that was the first time I had been back into the political, I deal with a lot of politics and with mortgages and things, but not to the extent of where I'm watching on the news, children being taken from their families and these laws saying, this is the way we've done it for years. And I said, are you serious? Like that's the excuse? That's the